That's a bunch of bullshit.
It was in a movie I saw. Right now? Is that what's coming?
Yes, we are.
Well, okay.
Welcome to the... I'm talking to your camera. It's over. Welcome. We have a name. What's our name? You came up with it. Share it.
We are Red Band Reviews. Red Band Horror Reviews.
Should it be reviews or horror reviews?
I believe it's...
We still have time to change this.
Yeah. We're not just watching horror films.
And Red Band does imply...
It's general. It's just an R-rated. R-rated trailer for movies. Doesn't necessarily have to be horror related.
Plus, horror is a hard word to say, isn't it?
Horror.
Horror.
I feel dirty saying it.
Say it 15 times.
By the time I'm just saying horror.
You watch your mouth. All right, what are we reviewing today?
Today we are reviewing one of the. I wouldn't call it a remake. I would say that it is. It's sort of like an addition to the installments, the old Japanese American Guinea Pig series. It's a movie that was released by Unearthed Films, and it's called Bouquet of Guts and Gore. And I don't know if you can see this, so you're going to be posting.
We'll cut right here to some nice,
yeah,
video montage. But you can.
Wait, well, maybe in a little window. Hey, how about right there?
Oh, hey!
You can look up there.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it.
All right.
Dorks, right? That's what Sam's like. I'm out.
But yeah, no, this the packaging is super cool. It's a 3-disc DVD. I got it on DVD, and I don't know if you can kind of see. I mean, even though it's going to be up in the upper corner, and it's got some really fun pictures in the background that you'll get to see later on, and it comes with this sweet little book with all these pages of things that, when you look up there, I'm assuming you'll see it. Yeah, the movie. Let's see. Movie, it's 73 minutes long. Unearthed Films released it back in 2014. Yeah, and it's one of 4 out of the series. There's this one, Bouquet of Guts and Gore. There's Bloodshock. There's Sacrifice, and the Song of Solomon, which we have all 4, and we will be releasing or doing reviews, and we'll be plugging in the next one here towards the end of this video as well.
All right, so since I've ran my mouth and you've ran your mouth, Sam, what'd you think of the special effects, Sam?
I thought they were pretty cool. There were a couple things I thought were a little bit unrealistic, like the whole disleaving of the legs and the arms and whatnot. I feel like it could have been a little bit more tougher, or should have been a little bit more tougher. So out of 5 stars, I gave it 3.5.
I still think that the imagination,
yeah,
just the idea of thinking I'm going to deglove an entire leg. Like when I watched that, I was like, this little thing inside of me was just going, yes.
But they did it like there was nothing to it. They were like, oh, we're just going to cut you, and then we're just going to pull it, and then it's, good to go. We're just going to go on with it.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about how easy that one was.
Yeah. So just like a couple things like that, but there was a lot of blood to it, and that was the best part.
It was an easier degloving than even what's her name in Hellraiser. Remember when she's in the middle of the Leviathan labyrinth, and Christy's holding on to her, and she's like, "Hold my hand," and then her whole skin slides off. Yeah, that was good. Yep. Mm.
about you?
It was nice. It was very nice. Let me see my. what did I say? Oh, I thought it was true to the original, which, to Sam's point, was it was not perfect. The first one's really rough. A little brief note on that. The original Guinea Pig was the film that Charlie Sheen saw and turned into the FBI because he thought it was real snuff. When you see it, it's really hard to believe that anyone would think that was a real body. This one definitely turned it up, but it still had that cheese factor, which I kind of appreciate because when stuff gets too real, I want, just let me know, just give me a little piece that it's fake there.
Yeah.
There were rough spots. I think my big thing was that when they were cutting them up, some of the torture, they were not responsive whatsoever. And I know that they had that nerve thing, the nerve block.
Yeah.
And that was clever, but I just felt like in parts of it, it was really dead. And as I'm saying this, I guess that's the whole point, since they gave the nerve block to the people.
I think that's like one of my favorite parts of the movie, though. Is just the psychological aspect of like the whatever they call it, like the neuromuscular inhibitor they gave to the person, so they can see everything, they can feel everything, but they have no control over their extremities.
With LSD.
With
horrendous,
1,500
horrendous,
milliliters,
horrendous
LSD, which is
man, that's no mountain to climb on. That's not a mountain you want to go on. That's the mountain of needles.
That is the mountain. Do not come back up from.
Oh my god.
Hanging out.
Horrible. But yeah, my verdict on the special effects was a 3.5 out of 5. Is that what you did too?
Same.
Oh, nice. Hey, how about that? What you got?
Special effects, I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Jonathan Brookshire?
Yeah.
5 out of 5?
I was a huge fan of the special effects of that movie.
Get out. Hold on.
Sorry.
I'm changing the screenshot. All right.
And the 3.5.
And this is Red Band Reviews by me. And no, all right. You're back.
It's already been copyrighted. You can say that if you want.
Oh yeah, you already sent that in. So you gave it a 5 out of 5.
I gave it a 5 out of 5. I think part of the reason for that was just having seen the other Guinea Pig movies, or like even some of the older ones, what we're comparing them to, like where it came from.
Okay.
I think this is more of like, like the Charlie Sheen movie, where you watch that and you think to yourself, there's no way in hell that anybody would believe this enough to report it to the authorities. Whereas this one here, you watch that and with a decent bump of cocaine, you could probably just go and believe the whole thing. I mean,
Tiger blood.
We're talking about Charlie Sheen here, let's be real.
I've never smelled cocaine.
I've never
had a horrendous sinus infection. That's why I don't like it. Anyway. So, okay, just real quick before we get into the next one. If that's a 5 out of 5, what's irreversible, buddy?
5 out of 5.
5 plus.
No, it's irreversible. I feel like that's a whole different genre of special effects.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. You know what? That actually just came in the mail today.
Really?
It sure did. And you know what? I got some weird. I mean, I had to double check because it's straight out of Japan. Everything written on the Blu-ray is in Japan. I could only find a Blu-ray out of Japan. Couldn't find one in the United States. But I made sure that it's region properly, so it will work on our Blu-ray player.
Do the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on to our scary factor. Sam, were you scared?
I gave it a 3 out of 5, or a 3.5 out of 5. It was scary. I think the idea, especially being a female, of getting kidnapped and then having to be, the drug to keep them from being able to like fall asleep, but they're awake the whole time. They're feeling everything, and then the LSD. That whole part was like the scariest part. of it all. Just like the whole mental factor was the scary part. So that's why I gave it like a 3.5. Because it was more of like a gory film. Like you're there to watch just like how intensely glorified this whole thing is.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't like scary to me, but the idea of it can be definitely scary for sure.
Psychologically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Absolutely.
it was messed up.
Yeah.
I actually gave it a 3 out of 5 myself, for the same exact reasons. It was the neurological whatever they gave, and then the LSD, and just the idea behind, cutting the hand off of your daughter, placing it on the mother's chest, and turning her head over so you can watch her. Like, it is out there. And, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not your traditional scary movie where, you don't have jump scares or anything like that.
No jump scares.
The ambience is, I mean, it is what it is. You're in essentially a dark basement watching people get tortured. I don't necessarily think that that's particularly scary. I think it's more disturbing than anything.
That's the word, yeah. That's it.
But I think it's, as far as the idea of just being drugged and incapacitated to an extent, and then thrown on top of more drugs that are going to keep you awake and tripping balls, and just having, just the idea of that is just, it's nuts.
Horrendous. I'm going to go with Vortex Mathematics, give it a 9 out of 5 because number one, I'm a Christian man, and we'll get into that when we get to the plot. Number two, the same thing, exactly what you guys said. I'll just recap what you're saying. This is real, and there's a website. I don't know if you know. It's called LiveLeak.com.
I've heard of LiveLeak.
And
I've seen some stuff on LiveLeak.
And it's essentially this stuff. There's real videos of this stuff, kind of like this. And that plot twist at the end. We'll get into that. But this, like you guys said, is not scary.
Yeah.
It's disturbing. It's psychologically disturbing. So I give it a 5 out of 5 on that. For me, with that.
Plot twist at the end of this one?
Huh?
I agree.
Plot twist at the end of this? Or are you thinking plot twist at the end of the other one?
No, I didn't say plot twist. And that plot twist at the end, and that plot twist at the end,
You did.
Did I say plot twist?
You said plot twist at the end.
Well, not at the end. Well, okay, not that big plot twist, but I guess the part when they say you'll need this back, kind of thing.
Yes. Okay.
When they reveal what the whole point of it is.
Yeah.
The management plot twist. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I say a lot of things that I don't know that I say as soon as I say them.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's fine because you can go right back into editing and then poof, it's gone.
But in real life,
Yeah.
it don't work.
No.
I say things and people are like, did you just say that? I'm like, no.
Yeah. You just hear echoing
Edit.
coming off of the mountain.
I'm like, I'm from Asperger's Mountain, man. You gotta let me just play. Let a player play. All right. Next. What do we got? Cinematography. What you think this looked like, Sames?
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I like the whole documentary sort of feel. It gives it that vibe that you're actually there and you're watching something actually happen. So I think that's kind of what gave the special effects a little bit more of a better rating for me. It was the cinematography. So I really liked it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The way that they did it. For sure.
I personally, I gave the cinematography a 4 out of 5, and the reason for that is I loved the cameras in the movie. They used like the old school 9mm cameras, which I thought was awesome. And then switching from one scene into the next, they had that cool like deep red hue that they would do from transitions from one screen into the next. And I also thought that it was cool that they were as they're filming, as they're running short of film, they are making verbal notes like, "Hey, I'm running out of film," and then it'll do the red background, and then they splice into the next scene, which I thought was pretty neat too.
That's good.
And it has that real old school grainy effect in the video that you get from like the old 9mm.
I wonder if it was used for that. We should have researched that and see if they actually used the old film. They've got the cameras.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could have researched it, but that is my guess, is that they actually used 9mm film.
Because it does cut, and they know, and
And if you notice, it's consistent throughout the movie, as there's almost like a timeline. Like, we're 10 minutes in on this, and he's about to change films again. does it.
I think
Yeah.
that was the most creative part of the whole movie, was the cinematography.
What?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Well, I guess. Creative.
In my opinion.
Man laid a crucifix on some. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I gave it a 4 out of 5 on the cinematography. I liked how they stepped it up from the original because they kept it in that really lo-fi handheld format, but then they added a couple extra people, which gave you different angles. It was more of a production, but it was still like this a faux snuff.
Yeah.
So I dug that too. So 4 out of 5 on that one. And then we have acting.
Acting, I give it 2 out of 5. I feel like they could have done it with the script. Like, without the script, I'm sorry. I don't know. I just think, it's all about being torture and being disturbing and, like, the little, like, things that they would say in between, like, what was one that they said that was really...
I'm getting hard.
Yeah.
No,
just
like,
random,
oh my
just
God.
like random little things like that was just like totally unnecessary. I don't know. So I gave it.
What does he say?
Lip.
Yeah, I'm hard, but I'm not dripping. Gross.
So for me, it's definitely a 2 out of 5. Did I say 2 out of 10 earlier? I mean 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yep. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and I mean, I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is not a good rating in my opinion. But that's, I think what's screwing with me on my rating of this movie is just having seen the other ones. So I'm like,
Fair.
I mean, I'm not comparing this to an Oscar-winning, I'm not comparing this to, I don't know, what's a good...
Saving Private Ryan.
Sure, Saving Private Ryan. This isn't Silence of the Lambs, okay? This is essentially something that appears to be made in somebody's basement with a couple of extra cameras and maybe a little know-how on production.
Right.
So my expectations were set super low before going into these movies, and I was very pleasantly surprised with the outcome of the movie. So, like, I'm not disappointed.
Yeah.
So, which is why they get the 3 out of 5 as opposed to a 1 out of 5, because this isn't, Matthew McConaughey.
Set the bar low, Jack.
Yeah, set the bar low and you get the 3.
Mine's pretty easy. I'm just going to hold it up so you can get the screenshot there. It says 1 out of 5 turd.
Oh, wow.
So, Sam, what did you think about... It was terrible. It was terrible. It was
really
gone
bad.
up. It was just...
Yeah.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not... Anyway, so...
Like, and I really, just going back to what you said, there was those little times where, like, it was getting too much, and then it kind of brought you back a little bit, and I thought they just kind of did a little bit too much with the script and, like, what they were saying and whatnot. It was just too corny.
Takes you to him out of the element.
Yeah, way too much.
What about the plot?
What did I say about the plot?
There was a plot.
Technically speaking, yes, there was a plot, but...
There was a hideous plot.
I gave it a 1 out of 5 for the plot.
What?
I gave it a 1.
What?
There really
There
wasn't
goes
a plot.
Brett on his tangent now.
We're changing this
It's-
You're
again.
going to climb down the mountain.
Yep.
You're watching a so-called snuff film and somebody just torturing other people. And I don't really think there's a plot to that. You're really just there to just indulge in the disturbance of the whole movie.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
I get it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5?
2 out of 5. Yeah.
I gave it a 2 out of 5, and it says edgelords.
Edgelords?
They are edgelords, bro. They
Uh,
got a secret management that wants sweet videos. So these little, there's one guy's not even very good at it. He doesn't know his left from right. It's no. It was back to the scary part. It was a crappy plot, but they did bring in the whole religious. It was clearly they were targeted for being Christians, and they cut them to pieces and laid the crucifix on a... Was this the one where...
I don't think that they were targeted for being Christians. I think that they happened to pick up a Christian woman, and they used that
to their benefit.
They had horn-ass masks.
But
yeah, but I don't think they knew they were Christians when they picked them up.
And what about the very end, though?
They said that Oprah was waiting for them tapes.
Yeah, what's up with the kid?
They said what?
What about the end with the 2 children?
Yeah. Christians?
That's the be like these babies. They hate the babies.
No, I don't think that it was specifically.
That's the purest right there. You get the energy out of that. See, that's it. See, the babies. They try and do that.
I can see
They're sucking them souls.
I can see the religious part a little bit, but I don't think that's what they were going for in its entirety.
Turkey baster in the
You think they were just?
Yeah,
You think they were just randomly grabbing people, and then if they found someone with a burqa, they'd be like, "You need this later."
Yep.
And then when they cut them to pieces, they shove the burqa down into the chest, and they say, "Oh,
I don't think there was any implication.
I'm not saying the words because this will get banned."
I don't think that there's any implication that they researched their victims in advance. I think that they happened to see 2 women get into a car, but they were waiting.
The idea of what they were doing was premeditated, but who they were going to get was not premeditated.
Yes, I agree. I don't think that it was
and why they were being kidnapped was not premeditated.
I don't think the subjects were racially, or not racially.
2020!
Religiously profiled. I do not think that that's the case.
Those men were listening to AC/DC, and they were putting on their Halloween masks because that's for the devil. The trick-or-treating children is for this is the devil movie.
But the guy didn't have heavy metal hair.
You're right. It was random.
Yeah,
There
were no fans.
Crap, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
No mullet, no devil.
Nothing.
This is just blood got some fun.
Yeah.
And that is
this isn't Steven Tyler. This is
You know what my favorite picture of him is? Have you seen the one where he's got his teeth knocked out and the black eye and he's like,
No.
Oh, we're pulling that up later. That's wonderful. These guys can Google it. Steven Tyler, no teeth.
No. Just cue it.
Just cue it.
Just put it right there.
Oh, there he is.
I do have a question, though.
I bet it had a bell when it went up, too. Dang. There's his ugly face.
I do have a question, though. So the guy doing all of the torturing, they made that comment, if you don't continue, we know where your family is and whatnot. Do we think that he was, kidnapped and forced to do this as well? Or
Absolutely.
Was he actually a part of the whole thing?
No, I think that he was being forced to do this against his will.
Because I thought that was really intriguing as well. His part in the whole.
I was given a list of words that I wasn't allowed to say, and Illuminati was one of them, so I'm just saying soft disclosure, and they were just, This was definitely Tom Hanks and Oprah trying to do this. Yeah, probably Britney Spears, too. Probably.
Oh, Britney Spears.
She danced.
She's my favorite right now to watch.
She's going to be in a snuff film.
She looks good in yellow, let me tell you.
Oh my God. All right, and that is Bouquet of Guts and Gore. Not bad for our second episode. We have a name. We actually had a conversation here. We can use most of the footage.
Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, though, this is the second episode on the first film.
Yeah, they may not even ever see that first one. They'll wonder where that's at.
Tell you what we should do is, if we make it a full year, anniversary release.
There it is.
The final, just before the year.
And then we can pull up the part of where you're talking about all the conspiracy.
And if you go to our Kickstarter, you can do the 8mm and you get a foil hat.
Oh!
To go for the,
yeah.
So you can understand
we'll send
what
it
I'm saying.
In a box with plenty of popcorn, and it will be molded to Samantha's
There it is.
head.
Right there. Her exact
right
shape.
There. And you know what? We'll actually pluck one of her hairs
No.
out, send it in the box for you, too.
And you can smell it.
Yeah.
And on that note, we are out. What do you got? How do we say goodbye?
Mazel tov.
Mazel
Mazel tov, guys! That's a bunch of bullshit.
It was in a movie I saw.